This is Wake Up and Lead, a daily podcast where ambitious young professionals learn to lead themselves. I'm your host, Hampton Dorsch. Today we're talking about fitness. Here's the only 5 exercises you need to be jacked. I'm going to talk about compound movements today. So I do have a lot of single people that I know that have a lot of time on their hands that can go to the gym for 2.5 hours a day. That has been me at one point in my life, and it is a lot of fun. But I'm not willing to make the time to do that anymore. But I want to have similar results, if not better. And what I've learned is that a lot of these accessory movements, a lot of, doing 1,000 curls or these random tricep or leg machines, those are not moving the needle as much as you think that they are. Like, you're watching these bodybuilders or these influencers that their entire job is to be as jacked as possible. And so they're doing like these tiny accessory movements, which yes, can obviously help you. But if you want to get the best bang for your buck, it's going to be these compound movements. So if you prioritize squatting, deadlifting, bench pressing, overhead pressing, and pull-ups, squat, bench, deadlift, overhead press, pull-up, squat, deadlift, bench, overhead press, pull-up. Sorry, I wanted to say those a couple of times. And then you focus on progressive overload, you're going to get stronger. You're going to be jacked. Well, you may not be jacked because, you've got to be consistent for a long period of time. You have to eat enough protein, but you will be moving in the right direction. So what is progressive overload? Do you guys remember? I've done an episode on this. Progressive overload is training harder than last time. So I think so often we go in and we have no intentionality behind the workout that we do and how much we lift. Now, one of those things would be maybe if you build a structure and a framework for these 5 lifts throughout the week, that's a good start. You say, hey, every week on this day I do this, on that day I do this, and you have your plan. That is step 1. Great. But step 2 is tracking what you did before and making sure you train harder than last time. I use an app called the Strong app. You can put in 3 different workouts for free. You have to pay after that. I just do 3 workouts on there, and you can put in every single lift that you do, and it will track over time the amount of weight and the amount of reps. And progressive overloading is doing either 1 more rep or 5 more pounds than last time. And you'll be surprised. Yeah, you plateau at some point, and I can talk about how to overcome those plateaus at some point. But especially if you're newer in the gym, if you prioritize doing 1 more rep or 5 more pounds on each of these 5 lifts, and if you do pull-up, you could do weighted pull-ups. Once you get strong enough, for now, maybe just start with pull-ups and then count the amount of reps. But if you do 1 more rep or 5 more pounds on any of these, and you have a structure for on what days you do what, that will move the needle for you. You don't have to do all these fancy workouts. You don't have to be at the gym for 2.5 hours. I promise you that. These are compound movements that affect more than just one muscle. Like an example would be on the bench press. It's not just your chest. It's also part of your shoulders and your triceps as well. On the squat, it's not just like your quads. It also affects your glutes and your hamstrings and other parts of your leg, even your core. And so these movements are getting the best bang for your buck versus like an accessory movement. A bicep curl only focuses on the bicep. Now, if you watch like fitness influencers, they'll tell you that you need to do like these crazy bicep workouts. And while, yeah, maybe your bicep might grow a little bit more, if you're not willing to spend 2.5 hours in the gym and you want to get the best bang for your buck and you want your whole body to look good and get stronger overall, I would just start with those compound movements and do progressive overload with them, and you will see some major positive results. It's time for you and me to wake up and lead.